Hello everybody, my name is Gregomon. Welcome back to Gregomon Tutorials. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. Now, before we even get into this, I want to let you know I'm not an expert at plumbing in any kind of way. I'm not a certified plumber, but I am going to show you guys how to do this, okay? So, what we're going to do is we're going to take this sink out, and we're going to replace it with this one right here. Alright, so first thing you want to do is you want to shut off your power, your water outside. I'll show you guys where ours is at. Okay, so our water is actually just right here. You can see I just finished shutting it off. Make sure that's nice and tight and shut off all the way. And once that's off, then you want to start disassembling everything underneath the sink. I'll show you guys how to do that real quick. Okay, so before we actually start disassembling everything under here, I'll show you why it's so important that the water is off outside, because once you take off these little hoses right here, I don't know if you can see that. Hang on, let me switch to lighted mode. Okay, so once you disconnect these little hoses right here, the water will start spraying out everywhere. And then this one right here is a shut-off valve, but of course you want to make sure that's shut off too. Well, you don't have to shut this off, but you want to make sure that's another reason why it's shut off. Then we got to disassemble this up under here. You can't really see that. Okay, and then you want to disassemble this over here as well. This is just the that is just this right here. And of course, I don't have a new faucet or a new spray nozzle to put in there, but yeah, we're gonna start disassembling that stuff real quick. Hopefully you are a good contortionist in order to get underneath these sinks in order to remove this stuff. So as you see, this is one reason why I'm replacing this, because it's leaking real bad under here. We got a nice little roach friend under there. But that won't be an issue anymore after I'm done here. Okay, so this right here, you want to disassemble this right here. Okay, so now that we've got everything disconnected under here, I see that's disconnected. That one's hanging right there. Oh no, that one's hanging right here. And this one actually runs to that right there in the middle, which is the little spout up top. Then that one's connected, which is the cold water. So now that we got all those disconnected, our next step is to come up here and remove this whole thing right here. Before this can be removed, we have to take out the parts on the bottom. I'll show you real quick what those are and how to remove those. I was getting a little ahead of myself there. Alright, so if you look up there, you see the little black turn dials? These right here have to come off, because those are what are holding it in place. And there's one on each side. See one over there and one over there. So go ahead and remove those. I'll remove them real quick. I'll be right back, and then we'll finish removing this. Okay, now that we got that piece and this piece over here removed. Let's see. Yeah, there it is, right there. Right there and right there. Now that we have those removed, we can go ahead and slide the faucet out of the sink itself. Okay, so now that we've got the pieces here removed, the faucet should slide right out now. So you see that comes right out. The only problem is this hose right here. So if you look under, you see that it's still got all this attached to it, okay? So this piece does not come off at all. So our only option is to cut this hose, okay? So if you've got a knife, which I've got one around here somewhere. Oh, it's right here. I use a serrated knife here. It's a long story. It's something I use for my job. So you can go ahead and, if you want, you can just pull it all the way up like this, and then you can just cut it anywhere, really. So now that we dropped our phone on the ground and everything, we see that this is good and removed here. Alright, so next step will be removing the garbage disposal down here, and we'll walk you through that. So one of the things with removing the garbage disposal here is you gotta see if it's plugged into the wall or if it's hardwired into a box like that. If it's hardwired into a box, you'll have to go and shut off the breaker for that box. Okay, so go shut off that breaker, and then I'll show you how to disassemble it and take it apart and remove it from that box. Okay, so you'll know if you got the breaker off if all the lights in this area go off. As you can see, the only light in here that I have right now is my flashlight on my phone. The stove light will stay on because that's part of a different breaker. But you see the microwave is off, the lights here are off, and then you can flip this on and off and it's not making a difference. Go ahead and flip that off anyway, just so that way it doesn't pop when it comes back on. But hang on, let me show you. So flip that light back on, and then we'll see it's off right there. Okay, so now you should be free to start disassembling the box over here and capping off all the wires. So we'll go ahead and pull the cover off of that box. Looks like the screws there are very rusted. So we'll see how that goes. We'll go ahead and pull those off, and then I'll come back with you guys. Okay, now that we got the box off, we want to put on some rubber gloves here. So you see we got the DeWalt rubber gloves. Go ahead and, because the gloves are just going to make extra sure that if the power is still running here, we're not going to get shocked or electrocuted. Now let me make this very clear. There's a big difference between shocked and electrocuted. You get shocked, you're going flying. You get electrocuted, you're dead. Okay? You don't want to be dead. You sure as hell don't want to be shocked either. I'll make that clear. Alright, so we're going to get these separated and capped back off, and then I'll be right back to show you guys. So you see how I got it separated right there already? I don't know if you can see that there. Let me get you a little closer. See how I got that separated? So we're going to go ahead and do that with the other guy right there. I can't really reach in there right now, but we're going to go ahead and do that with that one too, and then we'll be right back. Alright, now that we got those separated here, we see we have the two cords here, and then we have both of these capped off right there. So go ahead and, there's a little piece right here. You'll see it looks like a little wheel. Right there, connecting those together. Go ahead and unscrew that because that piece is holding that together. So it's, let's see if I can do this here. No, I can't do it. Alright, we'll be back when that's separated, alright? Okay, so we got this unscrewed here. We can see it's just hanging off right there. So now these cords should just pull right out, and then we can put the cap right back on. Alright, so we see the cords removed. Those are capped off. So now we can put the front plate back on, and then we can start removing the rest of the garbage disposal here. And then we can flip our breaker back on now. Alright, now that we got the box all disconnected and everything, you see the cords hanging down here. We went ahead and turned our breaker back on. We got light here. Our microwave is running again, but we have to reset it. Alright, so that's just to make sure you're not going to kill yourself doing this shit, alright? Because it happens, okay? So now we're going to start disconnecting the garbage disposal here, and then disconnecting the piping here. We can see that's not even connected. So we're going to start disconnecting all this stuff. We're going to disconnect this back here. So let's just start disconnecting some of this anywhere, because all this is coming out anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and disconnect that. Disconnect this. Alright, and then disconnect this. Now is when the fun part starts, because this is all demo now. You don't have to worry about electricity, you don't have to worry about leakages, you don't have to worry about anything. Now, of course, you're still going to have some water up in here, and it will smell bad. So let's go ahead and go ahead and get all this stuff, all these pipes disconnected, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so we got all the piping disconnected. We see it's a little old down here. And the reason there's this square hole in the wall right here is because I just replaced that last week, and then it started leaking again. But we see there's a little bit of makeshift going on here that didn't work out so well. Like I said, I'm not a plumber, but I make shit happen. So now all we gotta do is just disconnect the garbage disposal here. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, and then we'll start disconnecting that. Okay, now that everything's out of our way, let's start disconnecting this. So the easiest way to do this is just by unscrewing this right here. So let me put my gloves on, and then we'll go ahead and start unscrewing that. Let me see if I can do it without my gloves. Okay. And if you're doing the same thing I'm doing, like I said, we're removing this whole thing right here. We're completely doing away with the garbage disposal, and we're doing all new piping. If you have to, just break the shit. I'll let you know if that's what I do, but we'll be right back. Okay, so this is so rusted on, I've broken off about 2 or 3 teeth on it trying to unscrew it. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut the hole all the way around the edges here, and we're just gonna pull it all out in one go. But these are very heavy, so be cautious doing it, alright? Okay, so go ahead and clear the area around this. We can see we're going to be doing some new countertops real soon too, so make sure you subscribe so you can see when we do that. But go ahead and cut all the way around here. And make sure you have plenty of blades on hand, because odds are you're probably going to break a blade doing this. But you see that this is so rusted, it's kind of just crumbling right there. So go ahead and cut all the way around this, and then I'll come back when we start pulling it out. Okay, so the back side here is very difficult because you're so close to the wall and everything. So we're going to do it a little bit differently. We are going to use a pry bar to get this out, okay? So go ahead and just stick this right under here and begin prying it in different areas. So we see that, yeah, it's coming loose and it's moving. So be careful that it doesn't fall through, because that could cause some damage. But we see it's all loose there, so go ahead and grab that and pull it out, and I'll be right back once we have it out. Alright, so we got the sink out. So we can see there is a lot of corrosion as far as the countertops go, but we don't have the means in order to replace it right now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to clean up around the edges here, get all this crap up, make it look a little bit better, so that way when we drop the new sink in, which is this one right here, we don't have too many issues with getting it to stay down. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that up, and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, so as you can see, we got all this cleaned up right here. Okay, so if you bought a new sink, you want to make sure that you're not going to need these hoses, and if you do, you want to make sure before you ever remove them. So this is the new faucet that we got for our kitchen. As you can see, we're going to need the hoses because we don't have any new ones, but we got a new spray nozzle here, and these right here will connect directly to our hoses down there. So you see, we are going to need them. But if you don't need them, while you have the sink out here, it'll be a lot easier to remove those and replace them with the new ones, and then connect all this after you have the new sink in. Okay, so we don't need to remove ours because we're going to need them for this new sink setup. And we got this sink at Walmart. We actually got it for $44 or so, and it's nice. You can see it's a really nice one for the price. So we're gonna go ahead and put the new sink in, and instead of using the clay putty that they use for this right here, we are actually gonna use some silicone. Okay, so we see we've got some caulking silicone. We're gonna go ahead and put that back in. Okay, so now that we got the new sink set into place, we can go ahead and open up our caulking here and put it all the way around all the edges. So that way it covers all the perimeter here. Alright, go ahead and do that, and then I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, now that we've got our caulking all done around there, we're going to go ahead and put the new faucet back in, guys. Alright, and before we tighten it down and everything, because we have the everything right here to tighten it down. So before we go ahead and do that, we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of silicone on this as well. Let's pull this back out real quick. Dang it. So we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of silicone underneath the bottom of this, right around the edges, and then we're going to press that into place, like so, and then put this back in and tighten it down so that way it all stays in place and it's watertight. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick, and then I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, so now that you've got your caulking in place with that, we're going to go ahead and use our little tie downs here, and we're going to go ahead and put those on real quick. So go ahead and get those open real fast, and of course we know where they go by now. So we're going to go ahead and just put those where they belong real quick, and I'll be right back again. Okay, so we got those screwed on under the bottom right there. You can see it right there, how it's screwed on. So we're going to go ahead and reattach our hoses here. So this hose is going to attach to this one right here. This is going to be the cold water hose, and then this one is going to be the hot water hose. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reattach those real quick, and I'll be right back with you guys again. Alright, now that we've got those reattached up there, we have one more little thing hanging down right here, right there, that we are going to reattach our spray nozzle to. So let's go ahead and do that real quick, and give me a moment while I get it all ready to go. Okay, so we have a couple different pieces here. We have this piece right here that's gonna hold it into place. Alright, and then we have the actual hose nozzle here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take this piece apart. That way you can use this piece up on top. Hang on, I'll disconnect it real quick and then get back to you guys. Okay, so this piece is gonna go up through here. Okay, and just sit there just like so. Okay, until we tighten that in. And then we get this piece right here. We take the hose and we just feed it right through the hole there. Okay. It don't matter if you feed it in all the way or just a little bit for right now. Just as long as it's in there. Then we grab our other little piece here. I'm going to take this back under here. If you look way up under there, we're going to attach it to that right there. So just slide it over the hose here, attach it up there. I'll be right back. Alright, I got it screwed in finally. Had to have help. Someone had to hold the nozzle up there while I screwed it in from the bottom because it was just spinning. Alright, now we take this piece and we just attach it right to this little feller here. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that real quick, and then I'll get back to you guys again. Okay, so in order to get that connected right there, it's just a snap-on. Just make sure you have it lined up correctly. I forgot to mention that before. But once it's lined up correctly, it should snap right together. Okay, so as far as it goes, everything under here is connected now. Now we got to do the drains here, and then get them to run to this right here. We see that's kind of gross in there, but we'll go ahead and get that set up real quick. Okay, so here's everything we're gonna need in order to get all this connected. Alright, so if you're unsure how to do it, it shows it on the bag right here. But of course we took out the garbage disposal here, so we don't have to worry about that part. But we're gonna start right here and get these pieces connected in, and once I get those set up, I'll come back and show you how I did it. Okay, so what we went ahead and did was we put the elbow joint here, and then we have a little rubber piece that goes over with these tightening things. I'm not sure what they're called, but you just tighten them in until you have a nice snug fit here. Alright, so what I did to make sure it's nice and tight and snug was I used the impact drill to do it. So we know that's not going anywhere. Alright, so we'll go ahead and attach the pieces here and here, right there, and then we'll be back to show you how we did that. Okay, so we got them attached finally. So you want to put this piece on. Well, you want to take these pieces right here, these long thin pieces, and then slide this over, screw that in, and then put this piece on, then the silicone piece on the bottom. Okay, we did the same thing on both sides, you know, make sure they're nice and tight. Get those pieces on, and then we're gonna start attaching the hose here, and then I will come right back and show you how we did that as well. Okay, so we had a little difficulties last night when we were working on this. The hose that came from this little shutoff valve actually popped on us when I went to try and test it out, so we're gonna go ahead and just remove the whole shutoff valve and replace it. So first thing we gotta do is remove this right here, and then we gotta remove the whole valve from the wall, and we're just gonna use this bad guy to cut it off, but we're gonna take off this piece so we don't have to cut it as far back. Okay, so we went ahead and just cut it off like I said. Now this piece will just come right off. You don't have to worry about that too much. And now we're just gotta make sure that this is kind of a little flat. That's a little jagged at the bottom, so we can just go over it, kind of make it look a little pretty real quick. So just alright, and now we go pick up a new shutoff valve and a new hose, and we'll be back to finish this job up. Alright, so I went and got the new shutoff valve here, as well as the new hose. So we're going to go ahead and get this put in first. If you look in here, you can see that it's got a little copper ring. I'll show you guys how to put that on real quick. Okay, get the focus here. There we go. Okay, so with this, what you want to do is you want to put this nut piece on first. Okay. Hey, get out of here. And then we put the copper ring on next. Okay, now that we've got those on, now I put the shutoff valve on. And we just slide that right over like that, and then you just tighten it up. And make sure it's good and tight too. I'll be right back once I get that on. Okay, now I got the shutoff valve put on. It's you can see it's still leaking. If it's still leaking, go ahead and just tighten it up a little bit more. Alright, so we got everything all put together, tightened up. About to turn the water back on outside. I'm having someone else do it so I can keep an eye on here. Make sure nothing's gonna leak. Okay. Let's see. We got running water. We got no leaks. Perfect. So everything seems to be running fine. We're gonna go turn the water back on. Okay, so you see it's running good. Let's see. We got cold water. We probably got hot water too, but it takes a while to warm up here. Yep, we got hot water. We got cold water. And the spray nozzle works. Alright guys, so that's going to go ahead and that's going to conclude this video. If you liked it, if it helped you in any kind of way, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.